This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick TV, Facebook, and YouTube. Get all your sports news here first. The daily podcasts are Ken and Ken in the Morning, Lions Talk with Smoking Jeremy B, Wrestling Roundup, The Big Football Show, and more, Shield TV, Lions Villain Report, and Red Zone Rant. The afternoon podcasts are Valhalla, Grosef Sports, WCFL Dolphins Talk, The Cheap Seats, The Bodkin Show, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, and Maniacs. The nightly podcasts are Palace Hall Report, Frozen Tundra Network, Skull Gang 365, The Huddle Sports Network Open Mic, First and 10 with Foz, Main Event Football Show, Prime Sports World, The Man Cave, Prim and Proper Sports. Spitballing Podcast, Lions Fan Cave Chat, Puckett, 313 Den Podcast, The Guys Huddle, Shots from the Sideline, Let's Talk Sports, The Michigan Truth Sports Podcast, Off the Rails, NFC Northeast, Power Hours, and Detroit Lions News. Make sure you follow, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hope you like all the shows.
All right, good morning and welcome to another edition of the Sports Wrap Show. I'm Ralph Williams, your host. We have Scott Morganroth and we also have Brian Pettitt. Leo Haggerty will be joining us shortly, and we're in the Mata Heating and Air Conditioning Studio, 724-2010-500 Mata Heating and Air Conditioning. Call them today. We're here at Studios 808 in the Allentown section of the city of Pittsburgh, and I want to start off our intro, but first, before we do that, I have a picture here I want to show everybody, and it's a really good one of Scott and Leo. There it is right here. I got it right here. There you go. Yeah. Two great guys that are involved on this program and also have been very good at tutoring me in this media business. Leo's helped me with some guests on my show from Amped Sports, and Scott has done a really good job of working with me. And it's been a great working with him as well. So there you are right there. Really nice picture. This is from the Final Four, the Women's Final Four last weekend. So there you go. All right. Also, we're going to
we had
see what we got here.
We had a good time.
That's Scott.
Hanging out there. Yeah, Cyruski's active. You put a few of them up there. It's okay. Nothing hurtful about him. His bum is the Cybertruck. I don't blame him. I have no problem with that kind of stuff. I mean,
yeah, that's fine.
That isn't anything that's detrimental to what we're doing. But we'll leave the rest of the stuff out of there.
Yeah.
It's been making headlines for
that's
some
it.
of the
All right, Scott.
But
all right, there's Leo right now. Here we are, Leo Haggerty. Here's our other co-host, Leo Haggerty. Leo, welcome to the program.
How are you today, man?
Good morning, Leo.
All right.
Hello, Leo.
We'll start off with Scott Morganroth. Scott, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, and let's get started with the show.
Absolutely. First of all, go to our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. Candy Epling does a marvelous job putting it together. Our YouTube channel is South Florida Tribune. Please hit the red button and subscribe. Also, there you have it. Lessons from the microphone, tuning into the enduring wisdom of visionary leaders. I wrote it. Leo has a copy now, right, Leo? And Peter Blake will be getting one. And we had a great show last week over at the Black Rock Bar and Grill out in Tampa, Florida, hosted by Craig Picard. And Twitter/X, you can find me at Tribune South. That's pretty much enough for now. But Leo was awesome, brother. I can't wait to see you again, my friend. It was unbelievable.
It was a great weekend, Scott.
All right, there goes Sally.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Sorry,
not
Leo,
only over at Black Rock, but Leo and I hung out. We were pretty inseparable at the Final Four, weren't we, brother?
It was a great time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To watch Chino drop a dozen was amazing.
And Leo was not. Leo was. Tell you one thing about Leo. He was so genuine. Every time I felt like I had a short-term memory lapse, Leo just said, "Don't worry about it. It's okay. You're doing okay." Leo did a good job keeping me on the up and up because Leo found out last week how hard I am on myself when it comes to the nature of Alzheimer's, and Leo did nothing more than just give me moral support the whole time, and I am eternally grateful. And I'll make sure that he's definitely fed for a while until we get out there. We're going to do another show, right, Leo? Live over at the Black Rock Bar and Grill when I get back to town.
Absolutely. Hey, good food, a good show.
You got it, brother.
All right. Okay, we have our special guest, Bryan Pettitt. Bryan, introduce yourself. Tell us how they can get a hold of you and what's going on. Good morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. And I just want to say that it's been a great week, other than the thunderstorm the other day when the power cut me off and everything, because I know that it was kind of wicked because it was black clouds. But no, everybody can find me on YouTube at Tiger Stripes Media, X at Bryan Pettitt 34. And most of the time you can just look me up by Tiger Stripes Media.
And also, Bryan, I want to thank you for tuning into the show on Thursday. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Hey, Bryan, it gets pretty rough up there in the Blue Ridge with thunderstorms, right?
Oh yeah, it when you can see it coming over the mountains and it breaks apart and it's all black, it's terrifying. So I mean, with the hard rains, it'll flood some places real quick. It's 5 minutes into it, it'll flood. I mean, quick thunderstorms.
Hey, Ralph, real quick, I got to ask Bryan, were you at the Clemson Notre Dame game when the monsoon hit?
I was not, but I was actually watching the game, and I know some people that were there, and that was a monsoon because I actually had to work the day before that, and we knew that it was going to come in, and I work for the city where I live at, and it was just monstrosity of how much work we had to do after that weekend of picking up rocks, picking up dirt. I mean, it was madhouse. But I remember that game. That was a crazy game.
That was the old, what is it? Bring everything. We give you everything, but bring your own guts, right?
Yeah. It was bring your own guts.
All right, guys,
that day.
let's get started. Today we're going to be. All right, today we have a lot to talk about this morning. We have a new segment we're doing here, How the Mighty Have Fallen. And today, which we'll do later on, and also this morning, we are going to do a top 10 every week of different draft busts in the NFL. Now I have the top 10 this week, and we're going to do it up to the draft. So for the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about draft busts in the NFL. We'll be 10 guys who are draft busts. I have a top 10. Scott perhaps might have some guys, Leo and Bryan here. We're all going to do that as well. And but Scott is going to talk with us today about the A's and the Rays. Last week we spoke about that. I got Leo on here to talk about the Rays, and Scott can talk about the A's. I made a mistake last week. I put out some bad information last week when we did the A's and the Rays, and I want to apologize for that. Wow. Scott sent me some information, which is great, and I want to thank him for that as well. But Scott, you go ahead. The A's in their new ballpark in Las Vegas.
Oh, you're very welcome. No big deal. Happens to everybody. Number one, the A's do have an enclosed ballpark. They have to. There's no way you can play in 100-plus temperatures during the summertime. But it will be an enclosed ballpark. The stadium seats about 33,000. In fact, that's what it'll be, one of the smallest ballparks up there. What's interesting about the A's stadium, new stadium, is even though the Arizona Diamondbacks, I've been to Chase Field many years ago when it was Bank One Ballpark at the time, there's no way you can survive in those temperatures at all. Believe me, believe the Texas Rangers when they were at Arlington Stadium, and those sweltering heat conditions made things life difficult for the Rangers. I don't care who you had managing, whether it was Billy Martin or whoever, or Nolan Ryan pitching, you weren't going to make it. But in reality, I've been to Vegas, during different parts of the year, and just get hot. But I'll take dry heat all day long over humidity because it'll definitely dry out your sinuses. It will. I don't care. I actually give you a funny story out in Arizona. I had a secondary job where I was delivering pizzas. Even on a Sunday when it was hot, I didn't feel anything because of the dry heat. had good air conditioning. It didn't hurt the vehicle either. But yeah, so to set the record straight, it doesn't happen. Doesn't matter, Ralph. It is what it is. That it will be an enclosed stadium, so nobody has to worry about those temperatures. They'll be able to play it year round, and plus it'll be a good facility. If they want a smaller venue outside of the Raiders building for other events in addition to baseball, because of the way, as Leo will tell you, baseball stadiums are configured differently than football stadiums. So you have a lot of moving parts in terms of what events you want to schedule.
All right, Brian, your thoughts on the but go ahead.
That was actually pretty interesting what Scott just said about the enclosure, because I thought they were going to have, I didn't know that they were actually going to have an enclosure stadium, but that's kind of interesting. Now I think there'd be more fans actually come to the game that it's going to be enclosure to the stadium. So, I mean, but is it going to be a crowd? Is it going to be enough people that are actually at the stadium in Vegas and stuff like that? But I think it's going to be like a visited place. There's going to be, they got to make it look good though. They have to make it look good to people to come in there for just seeing baseball. So, and the price has got to be same, because you never know with the tax sales and everything. Is the sales going to be profit to the stadium also? Are they going to sell a lot of souvenirs, stuff like that, to the two new stadiums?
Well, Brian, here's a trick to Vegas. I've been there many, many, many times, and I can tell you how many side trips I've taken. You have the Grand Canyon, Hoover Dam, Laughlin, and Bullhead City. So I used to take trips away just so I didn't have to stay in the casinos just to drive around that area. It's a beautiful area. So if you're looking to get away from the crap tables, the one-armed bandits and all that, go to a baseball game. It's got to be cheaper than sitting at a baseball game, regardless of what the ticket prices are, than it is to keep losing money gambling all the time. So it's a deviation. It's just a closer deviation when all you have to do is walk across the street and watch a baseball game. That is when I took my rental car and drove all over the place. So
Yeah,
it's
true.
No big deal. It's a deviation, my friend. It doesn't take a whole lot of money. So it doesn't take a long time to lose a lot of money over there. At least at a baseball game, you can just sit back and chill out and then lose money later, go home, or whatever you want to do. So it's easy. I mean, 33,000, that's more than enough for that market.
Oh yeah, and they can use that place for several events with it being enclosed. Also, so we have that going on there as well. And I've always said this about Vegas, Scott, and I'm going to say this: there's more to Vegas than gambling. Okay, and it's like I drove a cab for 15 years, and I try to tell some of these drivers there's more to this job than just airports. You can make a lot of money doing other things. And in Vegas, I say this: there's more to Vegas than gambling. I mean, you can go around. Like Scott said, toward the M&M Museum, you can tour, all different types of things to do there other than just go to the casino. Leo, your thoughts? The Oakland A's and their new
You know what? It's going to be interesting to see if they try to put slot machines in that new event center. It's everywhere.
That is funny.
It's everywhere.
I like that, Leo. Go ahead.
Yeah,
they have them in the airports.
Yeah, it's all over.
They have them in men's rooms.
Oh, geez.
To Vegas enough to know that, hey, it's hard passing by any place in Vegas that doesn't have a slot machine. But, and I agree with Scott.
Oh, okay.
But it's 110 degrees. I don't care if it's dry heat or not. I can go into an air-conditioned stadium, sit and watch baseball for 3 or 4 hours, and enjoy myself. So that is again, as Ryan put it, it's going to be a destination. It's going to be a place where you go and say, okay, I got to go to a baseball game. I got to go to a hockey game. That's going to be something that is very interesting. And you know what? Down here with the Rays, outdoor baseball, that unique is going to wear off real quick in July and August. They're wanting something indoors because, like Scott said, 110 degrees is a whole lot different than 95% humidity. And I'll tell you what, you walk out the door and that humidity hits you. You walk out the door at 110, it's almost bearable because you got about 5% humidity.
No kidding.
But the Rays, it's going to be a nice, but come July and August, when it's just sweltering there, they're going to figure out why Miami, Houston, and Texas all have domes.
By the way, I want you to put that picture up again
Yes,
since Leo
absolutely.
just got back on about you and I, buddy.
Yeah, I'm
All
with
right,
you.
so he's got to put it on there. He's getting better at this technology thing. He can actually put pictures up now.
Yeah, he did it the
There
other
you
day
go. What do you think of that picture, Mr. Haggerty?
when I was on the show.
What's that?
He did it
Oh, you got it.
when I was on the show.
Okay, well there you go. Now you see it again. Great memory there.
I like his tie,
There you go.
the basketball tie. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
so do I.
Everybody's been commenting on that tie.
Just wearing a tie, and I had two of them. One for
No, both ties look good. I mean, yeah, there you go. All right.
I don't wear ties, man. If I ever got a tie, I'd have to get a clip on. But ties are against my personality.
Well, the only reason I wore it is I got a basketball, I got a football, I got a hockey. That seemed appropriate.
You have gotten so many compliments on that tie. It's unbelievable. I swear. And I don't swear. Now I'm using the word swear. I didn't use anything word. So let's make sure that Webster's language here is clear that I swear. I can't believe how many compliments you have on that tie. Unbelievable. Really? Seriously, really? I think that's what the hat says right now.
Yeah, not bad for an old white.
Okay, the A's.
That's a great tie.
The A's ballpark is going to cost $1.75 billion, and that's billion with a B is what this is going to cost for this facility. And I wish the A's well on it. Right now they're playing in Sacramento, and now we're going to get into the Rays. All right, we'll start with Leo since that's Tampa. Let's get into the Rays. What's going on with their new facility? Are they going to get a new facility? I know there's some bickering going on about the taxpayers not wanting to pick the bill up. What's going on?
Well, the taxpayers don't want to pick up the bill. And again, the day of giving an owner a facility to play in, that ship has sailed. And again, when I'm going to go back to when the Buccaneers wanted to build a new stadium, it came through that a year before they wanted to increase the millage for school tax. For teachers and for students and that. It failed 2-1. When they attached that to the stadium, it passed barely, 50.5 to 49.5. And all the administrators were all mad saying, oh my God, this and that. I said, hey, shut up and enjoy. You got the money. That's all that matters. The hardest thing, guys, is where they're going to put a new stadium. If it's going to go back to St. Pete, then you'll see some renovations done on the Trop. If it comes over to Tampa, I don't see where they're going to have to make the Trop playable because they're not coming back. So this is becoming a really interesting issue, especially if Stu sells the team, because there's a clause in the contract now that the city of St. Petersburg and Pinellas County must make that facility playable. Well, if he sells the team, does that become null and void? It may. That's a fight for somebody way above my pay grade who's got a law degree. So that would be interesting to see how that plays out. But again, they're playing in a ballpark that has the same dimensions as Yankee Stadium. So if you're a left-handed hitter, look out, guys. They're heading for that short porch in right field. And when it gets humid, Scott, you know how that ball travels in humidity.
Yeah, don't I ever. Well, the other thing, if I understand, Leo, and
All right, Scott Morganrot.
Yeah, when I was in that area, and I've been reading up on this a lot, because obviously I have a lot of Tampa in my blood. If you can't see it, all you have to do is look at the shirt. USF, right? But they have to at least get the roof completed, as I understand. Is that correct? At least to satisfy the final 2 years of that lease. So at least, and then the Rays, I believe, have to clean it up. So you've got to make it playable for 2 years. After that, anything's in play. And you're right, it is a Rubik's Cube when you're trying to figure out where they're going to put the stadium, because I hear Tampa's really not overly interested in diving into their pocket to do it. And St. Petersburg, I personally don't think can support Major League Baseball, as we've seen over the last several years, at least not at that location. So it's a mystery. It remains, and again, we could get into this topic on 9 million layers and future shows if we want to. But the reality is they're just thankful that the Yankees stepped up and gave them a place to go this year on short notice is what they're fortunate to do. And the Yankees and the Rays were able to work together and make it right so they felt like a home park. And let's not kid ourselves, Leo. When we were at Black Rock last week, even our buddy Craig Picard said he's getting a little bit of business from the Rays. He's going to send his kids out there to hand out flyers. And you and I are talking about this more from a standpoint where we're going to be doing shows there, Leo. So we have a vested interest in that place to begin with in Black Rock and the Rays. But when you look at the overall, they're on the hook for at least, I think, 2 years to get the roof at least put back, regardless of who gets it, is what I understand. And the Rays have to clean it up. After that, it's anybody's guess. I mean, we could speculate on what facility we think where they should put it in Tampa, but I think we'll hold off on that for another day until we get some more clarification. Now, I don't know about you, Leo, and I know that we're very much the same. I don't like to put out any kind of connotations of speculations in terms of where they're going to put it, and because I think it's all premature. Let me go to the chat room, okay? Hey, Josh Shador, let me re-explain something to you, okay? And I'll deal with this myself, Ralph. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Sometimes people have short memories, okay?
Gosh.
So I'll deal with that. Some people have to understand, okay, that this is sports rap. This is not the external bum, okay? So I'm not worried about the Red Wings missing the playoffs again. I just realized that Joshua's new nickname will be Joshua Delusional Door, okay? Delusional Door. So if you want to sit there and come on the attack about a show that no longer exists that was rebranded, I would advise you to see the nearest psychologist somewhere in Palm Beach County and see that you have selective memory and perception that any more of these type of comments, it's a bum show to you, and that's fine. Okay, but the reality is I do believe that there's a comedic value to what you're saying about there's perception and there's reality, and the word Joshua Delusional Door will be put in everybody else's category so we can keep things fun, interesting, and staying on point with the topic. So, yeah, well, a lot of us in Detroit are disappointed that didn't make the playoff, but things happen, and I don't think the Florida Panthers are going to be in there long because I Tampa Bay Lightning's going to knock them out anyway. So take that to the Amerint Bank Arena. So as we continue on, getting back to my comments here with you, Leo, stadium speculation in Tampa, I think would be premature. I think Tampa's the only place you could put the Rays going forward. And the one thing I noticed as we were driving home last week, and it was really an interesting adventure on the way back, which I don't mind sharing real quick, is this. I enjoyed seeing the signs on 275 welcoming the Rays to Tampa. That was very, very refreshing. I'm going to tell you a really crazy story that I don't think I've told any of you guys this week. On our way home, get this. We're 15 minutes away from home. What do you think happens? There's an accident right in front of our complex. And we get there at 12:30 in the morning, and they won't let us in our complex because there's only one entrance in there, okay? And we didn't get to sleep till 4:30 in the morning.
Oh,
That's crazy.
whoa.
Yeah, it's safe to say I wasn't very active on Monday.
All right, Brian Pettitt, your thoughts on the Rays' new facility or possibility of one or fixing up the one they have?
Is it going to fit it actually in the city? Because you got to have space. I mean, they just built, I'll just tell you this right quick. Like, they just built one for the, I'll just give you an example of, this is called the Spartan Burgers. I think it's a AA, I don't know, but it's like Greenville Drive. They just built one in Spartanburg, and where they put it, it's in a good location, but if it's gonna work, it's got to work. I mean, if the fans down there in Tampa really do want a baseball team, then I think it'll work. I mean, it's just like the Spartan Burgers here in South Carolina. They just made a new one, and I just want to see how the fans turn out for both of these new stadiums. And even if it works, it works. So that's my little point. Can it work?
Okay.
Well, first of all, they're going to put 10,000 people in that Steinbrenner Field all day long. It doesn't matter. 10,000 people, there's a lot. I don't care what
Yeah, it
anybody
is.
says. I mean, and the reality of the situation, they should be able to put 10,000 people. It's Major League Baseball at that stadium in the best location on the planet. I know in my own mind, okay, and I know that because I've lived there. I mean, geez, oh, peas, man. When you live in an area and you know it like the back of your hand, that's a primo location. They should have put that first stadium there right adjacent to where Raymond James was in the first place instead of going to that place out in, to me, in St. Petersburg. So you know, and that's
All
pretty
right,
much
thank you,
where it's
Josh.
at. Yeah, good information, Joshua Dorr. I have some work to take care of later on. I appreciate you doing that.
Hey Scott, I got a question. Where can they put the stadium? Like I don't live in Tampa, but where your location is, how far would it be from where you at to the stadium, and where could they actually put it? Are they going to put it in town, or do they actually have a stadium that's going to prepare for them to do that if the Rays do come there?
Well, I mean, Leo and I could both agree that, right, Leo, that Tampa's the right location, but I don't think they know where their location is going to be.
Oh,
The smartest thing they could do is to get Jeff Vinnick involved, because I know where he wants to put that puppy. And right down there next to Emily Arena on the water, perfect idea. But or out at Nucio, which is very close to that. But the biggest problem they have right now in Tampa with baseball is, yes, there are 10,000 tickets sold to a Rays game, but there's not 10,000 people in there. They're seeing maybe 7 or 8 right now. There's a lot of empty seats, but again, tickets are sold. It kind of reminds me of what happens with the events where they say, okay, we sold 20,000 tickets, but there's only 5,000 there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long that works out, because again, there's not a lot of corporate sponsorship because there's not a lot of corporate space. So again, I don't know if this will be a good barometer to tell if Tampa Bay wants baseball, but it's going to be the only barometer they have.
Excellent point, Leo. It really is.
All right,
But at least you have a year right now. At least you have a year right now to gauge the interest in Tampa based on what you consider a 90% capacity in that particular stadium. So what you really basically have, Leo, is a pulse. In St. Petersburg, for the last several years, you haven't had much of a pulse. And the one thing I forgot to mention on our show, Leo, Motor City Man Mouse show, which you can find on South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, is this, and I'm glad we can bring it up on Ralph's show, is driving on the Howard Franklin Bridge was absolutely, without question, refreshing because of the fact that they fixed it up as well as they did. So it makes the drive across the bay so much more bearable than it did before. I mean, newly Howard Franklin Bridge is much, much better. Before, it was a complete traffic mess. It really was. So I'm glad it was. Let me tell you, driving there on the way to Tampa, as well as on the way back home, it was really nice drive to see all the new repaved roads, the 4 lanes going one way versus where it was before. They've done a much better job on the Howard Franklin Bridge.
All right, I want to thank for tuning in on Facebook, Carol from Greensburg, PA, and also Candy from Fort Lauderdale. So I want to thank both of them for tuning in today and watching the show. And I want to thank you as well, those of you who are watching the show today on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X platforms, and also on the Huddle Sports Network and on the South Florida Tribune. And we're also on on Amped Up Sports as well. The show will be on Amped Up Sports' Facebook page as well. So, all right, let's get started here with our next topic, and we're going to go into how the mighty have fallen. And this is our new segment that we're going to do every week. Today, Greedy Williams. And I remember when Greedy Williams was, involved in the draft, the Steelers were looking at Greedy Williams because they needed a corner. Turns out they didn't take Greedy Williams. Cleveland did. So Now he's playing in the UFL in San Antonio. Leah, we'll start with you. Greedy Williams, how the mighty have fallen.
Well, he's still playing football, though, guys. That's
Right.
the important thing. Yeah, he's not in the NFL. He's in the UFL,
Right.
but he's playing football. And you know what? The NFL, they may not admit it, but they are watching closely what's going on with the UFL. Not just to see how players are doing, but to how their different adaptations come out. They stole the kickoff rule from the USFL. They stole it because it works. It makes a lot of sense. Now they can tweak it a little bit where they can back it up, the kicker, where they can say, okay, if we kick it in the end zone, you're coming out to the 35 and not the 25 or the 20. So, yeah, but yeah, he's fallen, but he hasn't. He still can get up, right? So that's the nice thing.
Right. All right, Brian, your thoughts. Greedy Williams, the mighty have fallen.
I'm going to say my thing, like you talking about like Grady Williams, like totally. I'm going to say that the mighty fallen Dion Jordan, edge rusher from Oregon, the 2013 NFL draft, he's fallen really good. Here's some of the things that I've learned about him. Jordan couldn't settle into a defection position as a pass rusher with limited production outside of his career. Further details by season-long suspension, violations of league substance policy in 2025. Also, he's playing at he did not play in 2016. He was shaky with the Seattle Seahawks, Raiders, and the 49ers to 2020. So that's just one take on that one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great. Scott, your thoughts. Greedy Williams, the mighty have fallen.
Let's stay with the Grady Williams thing.
Yeah.
Because I really feel that we need to do that. Number one, the fact that the Cleveland Browns drafted him, it speaks for itself. Nobody succeeds there anyways, or not many people do.
Yeah.
And number two, watching Greedy Williams succeed in the NFL is like watching Joshua Dorr ever appear on a broadcast. It will never happen. Period. It never will happen. Number three, here's the thing. The UFL has a lot of NFL players looking to get a second chance. I interviewed Daryl Johnson, and if you look at 50 to 60% of the players in that league, they're all looking for another opportunity to get some more game film. We talk about the upcoming NFL draft, right?
Yes.
How many of those guys are going to last and make rosters? You're going to have a lot of guys with more playing, better coaching at the United Football League level than you will in college because they're playing in the pros already. I'm not saying that a lot of colleges are bad, but you have to look at the quality coaches you have in the United Football League. And if you look at the likes of Mike Nolan, Bob Stoops, Ken Wisenhunt, Skip Holtz, and the list goes on and on. Even Wade Phillips is out in San Antonio, right? So you've got five guys with a tremendous amount of NFL background, pro background. These guys are being coached by guys that have been there and done that. You're talking about a guy that, remember, many years ago with Howard Schnellenberger was one of the first coaches ever. Well, I wouldn't say first coaches that, well, at least that I've ever known, that ended up going from the NFL to college and did really well with it. Subsequently won a national championship at Miami. Been there, done that before. Just because you don't succeed in the NFL initially doesn't mean you won't get back there later. Just remember.
No, not at all.
I don't think that the term "how the mighty have fallen" to me is as big a deal with this particular guy because he's still, like Leo said, he is still playing, and that's what you have to do. As long as you're still playing, you have a pulse, and that's what you have. He could land somewhere else.
All right, next week.
Any of the teams in Texas may need him. If I were the Dallas Cowboys, I'd look right down the road and pick up this guy. They didn't sign any free agents they didn't sign any free agents during the offseason. If I were the Dallas Cowboys right up the road, he'd be on my let's get him when the year is over if he has a decent year. So there you go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Next week, our mighty have fallen. Art Schleister. We'll talk about him next week. The mighty have fallen.
Yeah,
So
now that's a
that's
good one
next
there.
week.
I'm looking
Art
forward to that
Schleister.
one.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we have a new. There's the picture of Leo. But hold on a second. That's not what I was looking for. There we go. There's our new sponsor, Mr. Mike Dotson. Mike Dotson is a realtor. He is in Ocean City, Maryland. Give him a call if you're interested in buying a home in Ocean City, Maryland. My suggestion is to give Mike a call. Very good customer service. Has done a lot of work with real estate down there. And let me tell you something right now. The time is now. If you want to get a house down in Ocean City, Maryland, whether it's for the summer or if it's for the winter or whatever you want to do, short-term house, whatever you want, get a hold of Mike today. 410 area code 596-1681. Mike Dotson. He's a realtor down in Ocean City, Maryland, and a great guy. 20 years experience in realty and real estate down there in Ocean City, Maryland. All right. Okay. Yeah, and he's also our new sponsor. And also, I wanted to hang on a minute here. I'm having some issues with this here, but that's fine. I got it all. All right. Also, we're going to be on the Sports Bible. That's coming up real soon. Run by JT Toth. He's got the new website, Sports Bible. Check it out as well. Several different types of programming on there. Yeah, there's all kinds of shows and everything. Sports Bible website by JT Toth. All right, guys, let's get into our main topic today, and we're going to be doing this up into the draft, and that is the top 10. We're going to create a top 10 today of the biggest draft busts in the history of the NFL. Now, I have 10 guys here, but I'm going to let Leo start off with somebody, or two or three. Go ahead, Leo. You start.
Being a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I got to throw Mike Mamula out there. Because
Yeah.
what Mamula did was wake everybody up. And if I was an owner and someone came back to me and said, we're drafting this guy because what he did at the combine, he'd be fired immediately. I've got 12, 13, 14, or 15 game films from college, and that's just 1 year. What they do at the combine, and the only thing worthwhile at the combine is not how many bench presses he can do. What's his 40 time? It's the personal interview, because everything they do on that field has nothing to do with football. You're not going to run 40 yards with no equipment. You're not going to catch 3 passes in one possession. You're not going to go out and run to the sideline and bench press 28 times. Not going to happen. So, yeah, Mike Mamula, because being an Eagles fan, and he came in and just couldn't play in the NFL, period.
All right, Scott Morganroth.
I can't think of a million of them. But the one I'm going to actually mention is Charles Rogers of the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
I'll say why
He's
Charles
on the
Rogers,
list.
because the Lions going to have Andre Johnson out of Miami went into the Hall of Fame. Disappointing, too. Charles Rogers was a local guy, catch the football, had a lot of, unfortunately, a couple of broken collarbones didn't help matters. I don't think it was his collarbones that were the problem, some of his off the field transgressions that didn't help his cause any. And when you look at the sum of the whole and the whole of the sum, it just turned out to be a very disappointing career for him, for sure. So I'll put I mean, there's so many obvious ones you put out there. Yeah. Anybody can sit here and talk about the Jamarcus Russells out there and the Ryan Leaves. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to come up with those guys. It's the ones, to me, that you don't think about is what makes this type of topic a really good one. So I like where Leo's going with. I'm going to go Charles Rogers. I have no choice.
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. I'm not putting that up there from that.
Well, that's okay. Go ahead, Brian. Who's your top bust?
Mine is going to be Justin Blackmore, wide receiver. He was drafted. He was out of Oklahoma State, and he was drafted in the 2012 NFL Draft, overall pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars, 5th round. His rookie season was 64 catches, passes for 86 5 yards, 5 touchdowns in 14 starts. And he saw production, but year 2, he just got suspended for over 3 years, his final season in NFL, failing multiple times to stay clean enough to return to action. So that's a big one for me right there. So that's pretty big. So that's how fallen it has come.
Oh yeah,
on that one.
Absolutely. There you go. Yeah, there you are. All right, I have 2 here today. Mine is we're going to go with Ryan Leaf, which of course we all know he was one of the biggest busts, other than, like Scott said, Jamarcus Russell. All right, Ryan Leaf never really made it at all there as well. All right, who do we have here? Oh, all right.
You know, Ralph, while you're looking up another one, let me tell you something about Ryan Leaf that very few people know. Yes, he failed at San Diego, but he went to the Cowboys. And one of the guys I worked with, who was a scout for the Cowboys, said, don't blame Ryan Leaf. He had a broken wrist, and when they did the surgery, they screwed it up. And he had no feeling in that hand when he would take a snap under center. Everything, he couldn't hold the ball because he had no feeling. So, yeah, he was not good in San Diego. But after that, and forget about all the off-the-field stuff, which was crazy. You know, that makes you a total bust. But you know what, guys? I want to throw this out, and I know this is off topic, but the Luka Doncic trade, no one's talking about this. And I'm going to go back to Chris Carter. Scott, you can probably remember this. Remember when Chris Carter got traded from the Eagles to the Vikings? And they asked Buddy Ryan, why'd you do that? He said he only catches touchdowns. Well, there was an off-the-field issue that was huge.
Right.
And Carter went to Minnesota, turned his life around. I'm thinking with Luka Doncic, there may be an off-the-court issue that Dallas didn't want to deal with, and they wanted to trade him. It hasn't come out, but there's some whispers going on that maybe Dallas wanted him out for reasons other than his playing ability. I just wanted to throw that out. Ralph, back to you.
Well, no, let me comment on that now that you brought it up. Okay. I don't think there's any doubt about it. You don't sit here and get rid of a player unless you know there's more to it than meets the eye. I really think that there is. Now, obviously, they want to pay him the money that he was going to get with that max contract. I get it. Because let's face it, the Dallas Mavericks are under new ownership right now, and they've lost. When Mark Cuban owned it, he lost money. I think he only made money 2 of the 23 seasons that he actually owned the club. He invested a lot of his money, so it's a good thing that he was able to sell it for a decent amount of money to begin with to get his money back. But let me also throw another layer about the Chris Carter situation. You're right. He was a mess when he was in Philadelphia, got to Minnesota, but he learned from those mistakes so that Randy Moss did not make those same mistakes either. And that's a one-side story that very few people really understand. So there's a lot more to be said about that Mavericks trade to the Lakers than meets the eye. But there's one thing we can't lose sight of, Leo. Anybody knows anything about basketball? Luka Doncic can't play defense.
Oh, God, he can't even.
He's awful. So you better hope and pray he get 30, 40 points a game because he's a defensive liability. If you cannot surround a guy like him with good defensive support, you're in trouble. And let me just take this a step further, Leo. I covered the Bad Boys back in the 80s. And Dennis Rodman and John Sally made up for more defensive efficiencies on that Bad Boys team. So guys like Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, and the rest could flourish offensively. Remember that. So good defense will make up for a bad offense is what it'll do. I don't want to stray off topic too much, but I'm glad you made some valid points. But there's more to that Dallas situation than meets the eye. There really is. Anthony Davis on the backside of his career? Sure, I don't know what the other guy acts going to say, and they got a draft pick. We'll see how it plays out. Right now, let me tell you, many years ago, I learned from Al Campanis before, unfortunately, some of his other things came to fruition. He taught me that there's 3 ways to look at a trade. Immediate impact, and then you have the future, and then the long term. So sometimes you win a trade early, but then later on down the road, it turns out much differently. So Dallas may not look as bad. I know it doesn't look good now, but we'll see how it plays out. But I don't think they're, for some reason, I have a feeling you're probably right about this
All right.
based on experience.
All
From
right.
both
This
ends.
evening down at the Sheridan Station Square here in Pittsburgh, I will be at the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, and we're inducting the late Tunch Ilkin, former offensive lineman for the Steelers, who passed away of cancer
Wow.
a few years back. And just recently, best friend Craig Wolfley just passed away. So, you know, they're going to be honored at the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, and several others. I will be there as well, meeting up with Merrill Hodge,
Hey, Ralph, please tell Merrill
former
Hodge.
Steeler player and also broadcaster.
Ralph, please tell
What's that, Leo?
Hodge for me, because I got to know him when he was on the matchup show with Ron Jaworski.
Okay, yeah, I will. I'll say hello, and I got to do a favor for Scott as well, so I will take care of that as well for both of you. Thank you. I will be talking to Merrill Hodge. I met him about 3 years ago at a Draft Nation draft show over at Stage JE in Pittsburgh, and I have a picture of him. I will show that all the pics from the banquet next week here on the Sports Wrap Show. Every single Saturday morning, 9 a.m., part of the triple header of Ralph Williams Saturday, which is every Saturday. This is the second of 3 shows. The third show is the Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. Lots to talk about, including my rant about the Pittsburgh Pirate owner, Bob Nutting. Just an update on this. The bricks that were originally put up have been grinded down into dust. And now, if you thought the people who had the bricks at PNC Park with their family's name on them are angry about losing the brick, now they're really angry because they grinded them down, and the place where they dropped them off at wouldn't let the people come in and get the bricks. They grinded them down in the dust. So now that saga continues with Bob Nutting, the owner of the Pirates. I just want to let everyone know that. All right, next we're going to come up with My Town. Start with you, Scott. My Town. Go ahead.
Looking forward to going to Miami Hurricane spring game today. What was your spring game with USF?
You know what?
All right.
Want to play
What? Well, no. Huh?
Yeah.
Scott.
They're not playing for another 2 weeks. They're spring game.
Yeah, I'm going to it today. I have to be there at 1:30. Also, another thing so I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of content we come up with there. Also, I was texting former St. John's University coach Mike Jarvis, and Coach Jarvis and I are supposed to get together pretty soon. I'm going to give him a copy of my book. Then we're going to begin discussing some projects that we're going to work on together as well. Coach Jarvis to me is like a father figure to me. And every time I meet him there, he's always been there for me. So when I look at Mike Jarvis, I look at him in a way. He also coached at FAU, but he's been a coach to me. And he's actually in that book, Lessons from the Microphone, as well. So love you, Coach Jarvis. Looking forward to seeing you really soon. And Candy and I will be down in Miami, Coral Gables, to see the Canes spring game. And I'm looking forward to taking about a week or 2 off from the field so that I can get caught up with all the stuff we've been doing on the road.
All right. Don't forget to pick Scott's book up at Barnes & Noble or on Amazon, and also from his publisher as well. You have to, if you're into broadcasting or just getting started, you just maybe got out of college or something, this is the ultimate book to pick up for yourself or for someone as a gift, or to read. If you love to read, this is a great book to read, and to check it out. Lessons from the Moon. You'll learn a lot from Scott in 45 years. And he's coming up with another book real soon as well. So I just want to let everyone know about that. I got to pay a couple bills here. Big Dog Auto. Call them today. Let me tell you something. There are auto mechanics out here that will rip you off something awful. Not Big Dog Auto. Call them today, 412-999-0121. Big Dog Auto. And it's on Buttermilk Hollow Road in West Mifflin at the Allegheny County Airport. Oil change, brakes, state inspection, and much more. Give the Big Dog a call today. All right. Okay, next we're My Town. Brian, go ahead.
We got a lot of things going on in my little town here. You got Clemson baseball. You got Clemson softball. Clemson softball takes on NC State at NC State today. You got Stanford at Clemson. That starts at 6 o'clock, and that's in baseball. You got the Hub City Spartanburgers at Williamston in Detroit, I think. You got the Greenville Drive going to Asheville today. So that's going to be that. We got all kinds of stuff here. You got all kinds of festivals around South Carolina right now. This in little towns is where I live at. So it's crazy around here. So that's what it's doing in my town.
All right. Okay. I want to thank Cyberooski, Josh Dorr, and I also want to thank Johnny Tor. Johnny, I will be responding to your question in May. The Ralph's Opinion Show will be back, and that is going to be on May the 14th. It's a Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. We'll be back. So tune in to the Ralph's Opinion Show on May 14th, and I will answer your question that you have here on the comment section.
Yeah, let me add something too. I also want to thank Joshua Dorr, because if I ever need a dartboard, I know exactly where to find it here in Sports Rap. So, if I have a lot of this extra energy I have, whether I have any caffeine or not, just take a dartboard and throw it at Joshua Dorr. I know I'll hit a bullseye all day long. It's unbelievable. He's a janitor whose bark is bigger than his bite, is really what he is. Cyberooski's getting better. Joshua Dorr, well, there's no hope for him. I remember when San Diego had that mascot called the San Diego Chicken. Well, guess what? We have the Joshua Dorr Chicken here because he's so spineless he can't even put his face in front of a microphone. Leo, I know, gets comedic value out of it because the reality is anybody that likes to go out there and be outspoken, hey, we always have an open spot for you to come on here and face the music. And I don't know what kind of music he's listening to, but I know what kind of ours. Ours is rock and roll, baby. That's what we have. So if you're going to go out there and be a distraction, put your face in front of the camera so we can see. It's okay. We don't care who channels you're watching. It doesn't make any difference. You're tuning in anyway. Howard Cosell never cared whether you liked him. As long as you watch him. You don't want to watch my channel, I don't care. Doesn't make any difference to me. I don't take it personally. We have an audience built in, right, Leo, on our channels that we're not worried about a rotten egg. All we're worried about is a lot of good eggs out there. And so I don't think anything's personal. You have to go out there and be thick-skinned, right, Leo, in this business to succeed. And don't you agree, Leo?
If you don't have thick skin, they'll eat you alive.
Exactly. So I don't worry about Joshua Dorr, what we call the Florida chicken. San Diego made a lot of money off the San Diego chicken. We got the Florida chicken that resides in West Palm Beach. That's a janitor, not janitor in the drum. Janitor in the drum. Janitor in the drum. Really? Seriously, really? Great stuff. Thanks, Joshua Dorr. If you don't watch this, I get to see you every Saturday, and I'll continue to be, and I will find a way to make sure that you are my personal dartboard, and I can hit bullseye, baby. Just like I used to bowl 300 games over on my tablet because it was unbelievable. Every time I tried to bowl regular, I ended up winning a trophy for most unusual form. And I actually bowled against Dennis Rodman. And actually, we ended up playing 2 games one time. He didn't like my form. I said, well, your free throw shooting isn't much better either, I told him. But we're friends. So I'll tell you what. If I win the next one, you have to pay for both games. And if you win, I pay for yours. Okay? I beat him the next game with my most unusual form. Joshua Dorr, God bless. Mazel tov, whatever religion you are. Thanks for being my personal dartboard. God love it. I can handle it. See, you can't handle fingering, but I enjoy it. I feed off of it. Is that my rant of the day? Leo, is that okay if I go out there and address somebody in the chat room that is delusional and irregular? It's okay. Once in a while, we have to send a message to people. Respect is a beautiful thing. Disrespect doesn't matter because we can deal with it.
3 words. Stay on topic.
Exactly. And this guy, to bring up the External Bump show about the Red Wings, but we're not even talking about it, isn't staying on topic, right?
Yeah, right. There's a way of doing that. Just come on and say, hey, are you guys going to talk about the Red Wings? And we'll say yes or no.
Exactly. That's my point.
That's right.
Why do you think we work well together, Mr. Haggerty? All you have to do is, are you going to talk about it instead of taking a shot? Doesn't make any difference. Panthers are going to lose to the Lightning anyways. Doesn't matter.
All right. Go ahead, Leo. My town.
Well, we got the Rays hosting the Braves. They beat the Braves last night. They got 2 more with the Braves this weekend, and the Red Sox come to town. The Lightning, they had another, not a tough game, but they lost to the Red Wings in overtime, so they got a point. And now they've got Buffalo coming in on Sunday. Then the Florida Panthers show up, and that finishes off the homestand. Then they finish off the regular season up in New York against the Rangers. We got 2 home fixtures, and if you know about soccer, you know what I'm talking about. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, they're going to take to the pitch at 7 o'clock, and the Tampa Bay Sun, the women's, they're going to take on the Carolina Ascent at 7:30 down there at Riverfront Stadium. So we've got 2 soccer home games. We've got a baseball game. We got a hockey game. Tell you what, that's a quadruple of excitement here in Tampa.
So my question is, where are the Rowdies playing over? Or the
Outline. They're playing at Outline over in St. Pete.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, they are playing at Lang. So what, as I understand it, they reconfigured that for soccer. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, they lost 2-1 up in Charleston to the Battery last week, and the Sun went down to Fort Lauderdale and beat Fort Lauderdale. But yeah, the Rowdies, they're a fun watch and still a very affordable ticket.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I used to watch games in the Florida State League, the St. Petersburg Cardinals and the Tampa Tarpons over at LA. I enjoyed that place. It was really cool by the bayfront. I'm glad that they still have that building active and they're reusing it. Great stuff.
All right, guys. My town, as I mentioned earlier, the bricks have been sanded down in the dust for the Pittsburgh Pirates, the folks who paid for the sidewalk where the bricks were, and we're not notified by Bob Nutting, and it's a very interesting situation. I'll keep you up to speed on that. The Steelers, we're still waiting here, and I think I'll be 80 years old before the Aaron Rodgers makes a decision as to whether or not he's going to play for the Steelers or not. No, the Steelers are still waiting, so that's fine. But the Steelers laid an egg anyway with the quarterback situation, and the Pittsburgh Penguins have 2 more games to go after today, and I'm hoping that they play like next week, so they have 2 games to go. Can't wait for the season to be over. It was very disappointing. Didn't make it to the playoffs this year, as usual. Our professional teams in Pittsburgh have been very sad over the last couple of years. No championships, things like that. Barely lucky to make it into the playoffs for the Steelers, and they get blown out by somebody or whatever. So it's been an ongoing situation here with the Steelers. The Riverhounds are doing pretty decent, as Leo mentioned about the Tampa Bay soccer team. There sometimes they play Pittsburgh, and we play the Riverhounds. Are doing pretty well for themselves here as far as that goes. Pitt's spring game is today at 2 o'clock over at the Acrisure Stadium. We're going to find out who's going to be the quarterback, whether it's going to be Julian Duggar or if it's going to be Eli Holstein. We will find out in the spring game today, 2 o'clock over at Acrisure Stadium. Kenny Pickett is one of the head coaches for one of the teams, either the blue or the gold, I'm not sure. But Kenny Pickett's one of the coaches today. And also, I want to put a shout out to my friend Claudio Rosano. His Carnegie Mellon University baseball team is Division III, number 6 on the top 10 in Division III baseball for the NCAA. I want to congratulate Claudio for that. And that's my town. All right, final thoughts in closing. Scott, start with you. How can people get a hold of you?
Website, www.southfloridatribune.com, YouTube channel, South Florida Tribune. Please subscribe. Always like to find new subscribers. We're also working on these things called these shorts clips, which are unbelievable. We had 6,500 on a topic that we talked about for the Canadian Football League. We're on to something with this thing, so we're looking forward to building at Twitter at Tribune South. Ralph knows the book information. I take pride in it. My goal is when my wife and I hopefully have a chance to go overseas, I'll begin the outline format for the second one, probably my last one. So I'm looking forward to doing it. So it's great to be on the show every Saturday, Ralph. I really look forward to work with Leo for sure. He's a guy that has been a great friend, colleague of mine for a long time, and I'm so excited to have him as a guy who's my right-hand man. And the fact he's only 200 plus miles away makes it really, really easy no matter what vehicle I'm driving. I love you, Leo. You're the best. I look forward to us doing a lot more stuff together. Brian, you've come a long way, and I tell you one thing: you're going to continue to make progress. Ralph, you're a great student, and I'm looking forward to seeing you develop even further. Great stuff. Great
Thank
stuff in the chat room,
Appreciate it.
and thanks for allowing me to play darts today with the door.
There you go. All right, Brian Pettitt, thank you for being on the show again today, and we'll have you on again. Your final thoughts, and how can people get a hold of you?
There you can hold me at, follow me on Tiger Stripes Media on these platforms: Odyssey, YouTube, Kick, Twitch, and also you can listen to Spotify. Also, me and Pensman are gonna try to put a draft thing together this week. We're just gonna go basic. We're just gonna pick about it, and we're gonna actually do a kind of like a draft to it. So we're gonna do that. So we're going to try to come up with our own draft. It's just going to be straightforward. We're just going to pick them, and that's how we're going to do it. So that's where you can find me, most of those channels on.
All right, great. Leo, your final thoughts, and how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, go to Amped Up Sports on YouTube, Instagram. We're all over the place. Final thought, watch the Masters. It's going to be
it's going to be fun.
Because look at the top of the leaderboard. You got Justin Rose, you got Scotty Scheffler, and you got Rory McIlroy. I'll tell you what, that's a trio to draw to. Enjoy that, folks, and we hope that you've enjoyed the show. Ralph, take us out, big boy.
Yeah.
You got it. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and also on Twitch, Twitter X platform. Please follow me on Twitter and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Join us every Saturday here at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X platforms, Huddle Sports Network, South Florida Tribune. And we're going to be going on the Oracle Radio Network coming up real soon. I'm getting ready to sign that contract. I had to look over some paperwork, and I've been tied up with some other things. And I have Radio Network as well. And that's coming up. So also you can don't forget to follow me on Facebook, as well as also I'm on Blue Sky, and I'm on Tumblr as well, and also on LinkedIn. So many platforms that I'm on, you can find me. Also, you can don't forget my radio shows every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno show, and then 2 to 3 p.m. the Sports Corner radio show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoking Jim Frazier, Claudia Razon, and Luther Dupree, 2 to 3 p.m., 12:50 a.m. The Answer 92.5 on the FM dial. And please, next week, Tuesday and Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m., Sports Corner, special Thursday edition. We're covering the NFL draft. I'm going to have some more experts on, or some more guys that cover all the 30. I'm trying to get all 32 teams covered, but so far I'm about 3/4 of the way there, and we'll see if we can get this marathon done. And then April 22nd will be the last Sports Corner show until May the 13th. So we're taking a break. May the 13th we'll be back. So just to let a programming note, April 22nd will be the last show before the draft. And also I'll be at the Draft Nation draft show along with Claudia Razon, Luther Dupree, and Smoking Jim Frazier on April 24th. Starts at 8 p.m. over at the Rivers Casino as well. For Scott Morganroth, Leo Haggerty, and Brian Pettitt, I am Ralph Williams. Until next Saturday, have yourself a great weekend, and please be safe. Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Take care.